Hello and welcome back to Factorio. I've started making lists of tasks because I don't have a very good memory. So the things that I think currently are tasks are modules for the sciences, somewhere for the labs, and then plastic, because with plastic we can make the large power poles. And I think we're going to start off by taking plastic. So let's find out how plastic is made in this mod. Here's plastic. It requires coal and petroleum, and it can be done in a heated chemical plant, or an advanced chemical plant. Okay, and what... Oh, we have some new things here. Good, we have some new text plates. We may use those. So we have heated chemical plants. That's fine. So we're going to need to heat them. Okay, so chemical plants require stone furnaces. We've got a supply of stone over here, so that's not a problem. Okay, so let's start off by just sketching out a little design and see if it's what we want. So this is plastic. We'll have an output. However, they consume coal, don't they? So they have an input. So it's going to be something like... Whoops. Something like that. Okay. Then we would have pipe down the outside for the petroleum. I'm guessing initially we don't need very much. So we'll make a minimal build, but we'll make sure that we could make it a lot bigger if we needed to. Okay, then we would have a supply depot pushing plastic out to the network. And we need 2 request depots, one for the coal and one for the petroleum. Let's make sure we have plenty of trucks. Yeah, we've got 20 trucks. So I've been crafting some things on the background, and I've also been putting out some new production squares. Okay, so let's cut that. And in the meantime, craft a few more nanobots. Alright, so this is our module. Now, one option would be to... So we can fit 6 quite comfortably. But maybe we could do that. And that looks like a fairly decent sized build, doesn't it? Now, this is more complicated than I have let on. So let's go back. Okay, so this requires heat pipe. So I'm not sure it matters where the heat pipe touches, but we do need heat pipe to touch. And we're going to need the heat pipe to get out of the build somehow. Okay, so I wonder... Maybe something like that. That joins the 2 halves. And then... Let's put one of these down again. Okay, so... What I'm not sure about is where on the edge the heat pipe needs to touch the build to work. Now, it seemed with the things that make the heat, that it didn't actually matter where you touched them on the outside. It seemed to work regardless. But I'm not confident in that. This is giving a yellow box around the outside, isn't it? And this gives a yellow box around the outside. So, I don't know, maybe I need to ask on the mod page, but let's assume for now you can put them anywhere. Okay. put the recipe back. Okay, and let's just check the rates. Okay, so it looks like one of these produces 1.3. One of these consumes 200. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So one of these can easily supply 6 of these. So 2 would do 12. So if we had... So I'm going back to this build now, because we could, I think, then put a heat pump on each side, and one of these would supply all of that. Let's just double check it again. So if this is really where that went, this produces 1.3 megawatt of heat. One of these is 2, but we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these. So let's ramp that up to 6. And that's 1.2, which is less than 1.3, so that's fine. And we can use the same petroleum as fuel. So then it's a question of how we get the heat up these. Maybe the answer is some underground pipes. I'm not sure. Let's copy the whole of this again. All right. So, how's this going to work? The other option would be to totally separate the heat from the left and the right builds. So if we got rid of this, just cut that, move it up. Okay. And then did that. Perhaps we could then run heat pipe like that. That could work. In fact, that would work fine, wouldn't it? And I'm just, again, perhaps that's the way to do it. I think that buys us a couple of tiles, which is not a bad thing in these cramped conditions. Okay, and then this can move to somewhere like that if I want them out of line. If I want them in line, then that would work. Okay. So this is one of these things where I think we're going to have to build it and see if it genuinely does work or not. Let's copy all of that, then delete that, and then we can press F to flip. So I think that should work. Okay. And then if we move the whole build up. So again, I think we could probably double this. We could have one here and one here. That looks possible, doesn't it? And then we will just sketch out the absolute minimum of this to get the build running. So, we need petroleum to be connected all the way across the build. That looks like that would do the job. Okay, and then these are kind of misplaced now. So one of those can go there and be the petroleum. And then the other one can be the coal. So then if this came out sideways, that can be that coal. Then we can have two separate belts loading there. I quite like that. So I'm going to place down part of this build by hand. Because I want to make sure that we get some plastic made. Ah, this doesn't line up. Okay, so that can go to there. That works. Okay, and that gets our very first assembler working. And one thing I didn't do, let's cap this at 1 row. One thing I didn't do is put any power poles into the build. Alright, so this can be coal, which was hidden away somewhere. I am finding it really hard to find materials in this. There. There's coal. Okay, here's petroleum. Wow, we already have all these fluids. Right. Put a couple of trucks in each one. And then let's start figuring out how we're going to cable this. Okay, so it looks like these wooden cables don't reach far enough. And then we'll try and cable in the same way both sides. Good. So that should work. Yeah, that just requires some fuel to work. Right, so what's the bill of materials for this? We need 24... okay, we need 20 more chemical plants. We're going to need a lot more heat pipe. Have I botched? Yeah, I think I've botched how this runs. Let's see if we can do it again without getting it wrong, and then we'll copy paste it to the other side. Glad I caught that now rather than later. Okay, so this is the unit we need. There. And then there. And we can... Whoops. There. Good. And then this can go away. We don't need these last bits of pipe. Let's cut the whole of this middle. Down, yeah, all of it. And all of this. And this. Okay, so we'll basically copy this and flip. Oh, we can't flip because it's got chemical plants, which aren't flippable. Okay. So let's do that. We're just going to have to copy paste it bit by bit. Okay. Okay, so then this should be what fits here. This should be what fits here. Okay, that goes across there. And all we're missing is the petroleum supply for these inner ones. But I think that might work. If it doesn't, we will revisit the design. No, that's not needed, is it? Because as long as these have petroleum, it's all good. Okay, so let's join it at the top like this. And if we put one there, the two sides are joined. It looks neater if we put it there. Then we can move this power pole down. Okay. We need to join that. Okay, that does actually look like a thing. Alright, so what is wrong with this build? Why is it not working? So, this has coal, it has petroleum. This is hot. This is low temperature. Okay, so it does look like it wants to have the heating coming in. Let's pull this up just for the sake of... and we'll need more heat pipe, which are made of ingots and steel beams. Okay, we can grab some ingots, that's not a problem. Here's some iron ingots. Whoops, I didn't mean to make that. What am I doing? I meant to make heat pipe. Okay, so let's figure this out. So, does that warm up? No. Does that warm up? Yes, so it has to go in to this point here. Alright, so that does alter our build somewhat. Let's cut all this. Okay, but we do now have plastic. And I guess now we need to think about what we're going to do to redo the build. So, let's make it from... I'll make this unit down here. Alright. No, the next one can be close, can't it? So it's every other one that needs. Alright, so that would be the new unit. So let's blueprint this down and see how it works. I have blueprinted this down incorrectly somehow. There. Okay, so this comes up 2 tiles too high. Can we move this 2 tiles down? And I think the answer is yes. We can easily move it 2 tiles down. So let's grab the whole of this without the belt. Let's grab that. Okay. Take all this away. And... whoops. That was foolish. My inventory is quite full of various rubbish. Let's just dump some of it in here for now. Let's hope our transport system sorts it out later. Alright, I don't need that, I don't need that. That should give us enough room for now. Alright, so that's our unit. If it was this far down, it fits. If it's one more down, it's actually within the previous... Yeah, if I put it there, then it's within the shadow of the previous build, which is pretty nice. Okay. So the next thing to find out is if these units which can take in fuel and put them out, is that actually, yes it is, so it's passing the fuel through, so we don't need this pipage. Okay, let's pull those up. Right, I'm off by 1 here on the chemical plants, but never mind. Let's see if we can get this whole side built. Steel beams. Okay, that's the other side of the build. So let's have a chat while we do this. I've been going through and doing some builds in the background. Sorry, some researches in the background. They're just random fillers. So there you are. They're not really game progression techs. If we look at, where are we? Sorry, this. So we're 9.3 of 70% through. And some of the techs have a... So this tech, if you look, it's just tech. Braking force has this by it. That means that this tech contributes to that 70%. The techs without this don't contribute. So I've been doing mainly non-contributing techs off stream. Great, so I can make quite a few of these now. Which should be enough to get a bit more of this built. Sorry about that, I didn't mean that overlay to flash up. Can we also make a few more? Yeah. There we go. Okay, and then I don't think we need that there. That can go down. I'm going to have to redo where the power poles are because they're probably in the wrong place now that we've changed the spacing of the buildings. Good. Alright, so this just needs to get up to temperature and then it's ready. That is pretty cool. So I think I delete most of this. Yep, most of this. Including all of this. And then we will need to figure out how to repack the other 3 builds into this footprint. There we go. But that is something we can probably do off air because it's just a question of it's just literally a question of finding out where we can fit these builds now. So this thing I need 1. Let's just line it up really carefully. So I need 1 of those there. And then I need the mirror build in the middle and there. So, whoops, that's 1 too far over, isn't it? Let's move it back 1. There we are. Okay, so that's where that goes. I can always move these 2 warehouses to somewhere that fits a bit better, if that's what's needed, which I think may be. But I'm going to call this build done because the important thing is we have some plastic. Although I would like to know why this isn't... It's complaining about temperature, so it's just not... I think it's just that I've got so much heat pipe here that this heat pipe is taking so long to get up to temperature. So note to self, we don't want to be building and tearing down these things regularly. Alright, so now we've got some plastic. We have unlocked fast road, which is concrete and crude oil. So at some point we will upgrade all our roads to fast road. But we can make big electric poles. Wow. Let's make a few of those. They seem fairly fast to handcraft now that I've done a lot of quality of life upgrades. In the meantime, we can fiddle around with this a bit. Yeah, I think that's going to go there, and I'm going to have to do something with trash. There we go. I'm totally full. There we go. Alright, so if we move that over, that's out of the way. We can fit another boiler here. Good. And we might even rearrange how the petroleum goes in. Right, so let's grab this, flip it round. So that's going to go there. This backbone gets flipped with a G. With a G? No, with an F. There we go. And then yeah, that's fairly straightforward. So that's just a direct copy. There. So what we're missing is this guy. Let's move this. Good. That looks like the build. So then if I copy this, that all joins up. There. And then we could inject the petroleum at this point. So let's set this back to petroleum. And again, I just want to make sure that everything does join up. Let's craft another couple of those. Good. Whoops. Why are these going on the floor? I'm not sure why they're going on the floor. Okay, no idea. So that should all be working again. So, off camera, I will handcraft all the guts for this build and get it running. But that is plastic done. Brilliant. So we've got science modules and labs next. But having made plastic and having got some large poles, I think that's pretty cool. So what we can do, can we start... Yes, we can. We can start putting in a power grid. That's really good. So the keen-eyed among you may have noticed that the large power poles are lining up surprisingly well. There's a reason for that. I've installed a mod called Power Pole 32, which aligns power poles at a distance of 32 rather than a distance of 30. My OCD just can't cope with building on a grid, but having power poles off grid. Sue me, it's just, yeah. It also means that I can do chunk-lined rail with, oh, there we are. It also means I can do chunk-lined rail with one large power pole per chunk, which makes the rail design much nicer. But anyway, this is turning into make work that can be done off camera. But what I can do is retake this blueprint. Whoops, I'd included a gun turret. Okay, I'm not happy with that. I've managed to include an extra bit of... Okay, let's start from slightly inside this time, down to there. That looks better, doesn't it? So now this blueprint has the large power pole in it. And that is pretty sweet. Can we put one in? Yeah, we can. Okay, I'm going to call that a day. We built a thing. The only other thing is I made a couple of types of lights. So that's a balloon light. And this is a balloon light on a stalk. Whoops. Ah, that's against a ghost, so that's not going to work very well. And I don't know which I prefer. I think I prefer these, to be honest. So that's what we're going to use. So the module is going to have lights now, which is a radical departure for me. And I think the place I'm going to put it is... Yeah, that's as good a place as any, isn't it? Okay, so we can retake the blueprint to include a light. There we go. So this is our new module blueprint. And let's just blat it down from map. There. All ready to go. So when I run over this with nanobots activated, it will start popping all those things in. Off camera I'm going to make this, and then next time we'll start making some science modules. Thanks for watching. I feel like this was quite productive, even though this build was a bit chaotic to get going, but I'm pleased we did get it going. If you're enjoying this series, please like, subscribe and tell your friends. And however you're going, I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.